Hello, David.
Hello there.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
How are you?
We haven't. It's really funny because I've only noticed you um, relatively recently. So I do beg your pardon that we haven't interacted much.
Not yet, no. Well, nice to meet you properly.
Now, who else is here? We've got. Do I have to ask you to unmute? By the way, this is my first go at this. So, oh, how do I unmute people? It says ask to unmute.
Yeah, I think you
Oh, I
have to
see.
request, I
Oh, I
think.
see. I have to ask people. And can you put your cameras on? Have I got them switched off? Is everybody's camera on? Because I can't see Dina. Hi, Dina. And Blaheen. I can see it bounce, three bouncing pips on your thing. And who else is there? Sarah Pattinson. Oh, I've got to let people. So please, if things go technically horribly wrong, blame me, but don't blame me because I thought this was much easier. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a cinch. I'm a tech wizard. And I thought, oh, shit, actually. So I was trying to adjust the sound quality and things like that. Anyway, so we'll
David,
just.
you can write us a manual later of how to do
Oh
it.
God, it's so funny. It's actually so odd trying to find information. Actually, it's actually quite difficult to. I was doing tutorials last night and thinking, oh God, how do I do this? Right, and I think I should. Am I supposed to pin myself at the top? If I pin myself, would that? Oh, that makes me go at the top. And then what do I do to reduce your? Anyway, so is everybody here, or should we just give it a couple of minutes? It is just 8 o'clock, so as Mary is joining. Can I ask everybody to put their cameras on so I can see you? Would you mind? And would people mind if I recorded the session because I just want to replay the full horror later? Hi, Mary. So I just give it one more minute and then I'll start. How do Q J? It says I can hear you, but you haven't said anything.
You can hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Is it in your mind?
Yes, exactly. You're haunted. Hi, Q.
I'm unmuted. I wanted to say something, but I haven't said anything yet.
Okay, all right. Well, shall I mute you? Oh,
Sounds good.
Bonda's here.
Hey, David, it's Melanie calling. I am here in support. I can't turn my camera on though, but
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Okay, that's fine. Absolutely, that's cool. So it's really funny being where, what do you call it? Oh, there's somebody else. Sorry. Right, I'll give it 2 more minutes and then I will then just get on with it because I'm sure. Have you all been to the GoPro? No, people are waving and people might be talking, but I realise that I've actually got to unmute everybody. If Blaheen, did you go to the GoPro?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
Hi.
We're able to unmute ourselves if we want.
Oh, okay. All right. So if you could do that, if you could do that, then that would be wonderful. So, okay. So do you think I should start? It's 2 minutes past. Oh, somebody else is here. Yeah, this is going to happen all evening, isn't it? Somebody else is going to roll up late. So that was Alison, wherever you are. Alison, could I ask you to switch your camera on? Wonderful. Thank you very much. Anyway, so I thought foolishly, oh, I'm ready for this. I can give a session because it's all part, obviously, of our cohort 25. We've got to do this, and so I thought, oh, I'll do it. I was going to do it with Freddie, and I thought, no, I'm not sure I could handle 100 people looking at me. I think I might explode, and I didn't go to the GoPro because I thought my mind is racing all over the shop. I won't remember anything. So, and when Mary said, "Oh, would you like have a tip of would you like a chance at havening?" I said, "What the hell's havening?" Something to calm me down. Anyway, so right, one last person. Good Lord. Right, so I'm going to start with a Clint Eastwood saying, which is take the industry seriously, but don't take yourself seriously. And that's a quote that I live by and have done in all my careers that I've done. And this talk is about having fun with our clients when it's appropriate. And I hope that it will make us, as my poster said, engaging, memorable, and also effective, because there's some lovely tips and tricks that we can use to really brings a bit of fun into the therapy room. And these are all things that I've picked up from, not only from the RJHA stuff in the normal, but looking around at some other things that I'm interested in. And one of the things I'm interested in is IBS, because I suffer from IBD. And so there's a wonderful woman on there who I'll quote later on. And so this talk is just about fun and some interesting and weird and wonderful things that we can do, which at the right appropriate time might be a good thing to get somebody inducted or induced or in trance or whatever you want to do. So first of all, this might be the cringiest thing all night, but what I'd like you to do is I want you to take your seriousness and I want you to throw it at me out of the screen, and I'll try and catch it in my bag. And who is that? Somebody else is throwing something. There's another one. There's
Ready,
another
David?
one.
Here it comes.
Okay, there we go. All right, so all our seriousness and all our worries are in my bag. I'm going to throw the bag away. And now we can have fun. And that's called Cherry Pips by Eric Morecambe and Anthony Jaquin. So let's start this session by talking a little bit about me, which happens to be my favorite subject. So who am I? I have been working in TV and advertising for 31 years, and somebody else has come in. I've been working in TV for 31 years, and I, up until 2 years ago when I had my 4th heart attack, and I thought that the universe was trying to tell me something, that maybe I should try and pick something a little less stressful. So why not go into hypnotherapy, which to my I'm not quite sure it's a little less stressful. But the last program I worked on at the BBC was Newsnight, and I decided the universe really was telling me something when I looked at the map. Mark Urban, the sort of warfare and military guy, was giving a talk, and my map popped up, and I had, for some reason, put Iran and Iraq in exactly the opposite places. And as he turned to look at the map, I could just see the colour draining out of his face, and the colour drained out of my face, and I thought, right, I've pushed my luck a little bit too far. I'm not very good at this, so I left the BBC. But anyway, so every time I get hypnotized and I go into trance, I don't know about your experience, but I have something which is called lacrimation, which is a very posh word for tears in my eyes. And my eyes flutter, my eyelids flutter, and I laugh, and I find myself laughing a lot and smiling and becoming very, very happy. And I spoke to Anthony and I said, why is this? And my relationship with Anthony goes back to about 2008, maybe 2010. And I came to him through the magic route, and he released a DVD set called The Manchurian Approach. And it's basically street hypnosis, and it's going up to people, and it's a cheekier, younger Anthony, and he does what he at some stage he calls it boshing them under, where he literally yanks these people into hypnosis. It's quite terrifying to watch, but that's why I'm interested in humor, and I'm interested every time I see sort of humorous elements or really interesting tips and tricks that I think could really help us, and as I said, at the appropriate time. So that was the seed for this talk, was basically Anthony and the fact that he makes me laugh every time he boshes me under. I'm going to read an article which is kind of self-evident, but I was looking for this, and I remember thinking that it was actually apocryphal because I'd heard this several times over when I was a kid, and I thought, when something gets into the sort of the public lexicon, or it's sort of, as I said, I thought it was apocryphal, but this is an article about emotions and your body. And I'll read it. The idea that thoughts or emotions affect your body gained traction in the 1950s when Protestant preacher Norman Vincent Peale wrote a book called The Power of Positive Thinking. But Anne Harrington, a professor of the history of science at Harvard University, identifies Norman Cousins as the man who triggered the revolution. In the 1970s, Cousins, a magazine editor, was hospitalized with a mysterious, crippling disease. Doctors diagnosed some sort of progressive paralysis or degenerative bone disease that would eventually kill him. Facing a death sentence, Cousins threw out the specialists. So he checked himself into a hotel. He had films of Candid Camera and the Marx Brothers brought into him. This is how old this was. He read all sorts of amusing books and comedy books, and he discovered that 10 minutes of belly laughing gave him 20 minutes of pain-free sleep. And little by little, as it came to be famously remembered, he laughed himself back to health. What earned Cousin a place in medical history, though, was the fact that his experience was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and thus was born a new science. Now, I'm going to try and pronounce this, but I always get this wrong. It's psychoneuroimmunology. So your thoughts and feelings are the psycho bit, which affect the chemicals in your brain, which is the neuro bit, which affect the hormones that fight disease or replicate viruses, immunology. So the research followed quickly and showed that non-physical things like thoughts and emotions affect our bodies at a cellular level, just as surely as our genes or lifestyles do, or the medicine we take. And that chimes so neatly with what we've been told. When Freddie does his line, that's his hypnotic promise of changes operating at a cellular neurological level. I can't remember the third one. Anyway. So I'm going to start with a dose.
David, I know it was a cellular, molecular, neuron level.
Neurological level.
Oh, he says neuron.
Yes.
You'll have to pull him up on that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Vonda. Anyway, so I'm going to give you all a dose of medicine now, some happy medicine. And that's in the form of a joke. And I know that Blahin particularly appreciates this joke, and so does Mary, because I both told them before. And they asked me to edit it slightly, but I'm afraid I won't. So at risk of offending people. And because everybody's on mute, I won't hear whether you laugh or not, but it pleases me. So anyway, this is a joke told by Clement Freud, who used to be a restaurateur, and he was a broadcaster on Radio 4, and he used to do a show called Just a Minute, which I loved. And Clement Freud told this wonderful joke, which has been described as the funniest joke in the world. So he says, I walked into a pub one night at closing time, and I saw a drunk sitting by the bar, and he had puke all down the front of his shirt, and tears in his eyes. And I said, what's the matter? And he said, if I go home looking like this, with this puke down the front of my shirt, my wife will leave me. And Clement says, hold on a minute. Take this £5 note, put it in your top pocket, and when your wife sees you, you can say, hang on, this is a £5 note that was given to me by the man who vomited on your shirt, on my shirt. And so it's nothing to do with me. So the man goes home and he fumbles with his keys, and he goes in, and his wife says, you're drunk. Look at that vomit on your shirt. And he says, hang on a minute, hang on. Look at this £5 note. Look at this puke on my shirt. This £5 note is from the man who vomited on my shirt. And the wife says, what are those two £10 notes doing in your top pocket? And he says, this is from the man who shat in my pants. Right, nobody laughed, but I can imagine that you might have done. So that's my shit joke. And then this is my possibly blasphemous joke. The same man, next day, he saw him in the street, and the man had no recollection of it. And he came up and he said, I'm Jesus Christ. So I said, no, you're not. And he said, yes, I am. I've just been in that pub over there. And they all said, Jesus Christ, it's not you again. Ba-ba. So in the last joke, so I've heard one about poo, one about blasphemy, or one that's possibly blasphemous. And here's a vaguely intelligent one. I went to a restaurant that serves breakfast at any time. So I ordered French toast during the Renaissance. So slightly more edifying. So this is the first bit of fun that I saw, which was Helen Wyer, who on the JHA has got this session called Effective Hypnotherapy for IBS. As I said, it's something that interests me very much. And her entire sessions start with talking to the client or the patient or whatever you just to call them, really about their problem, about what it is, like we've all been taught. What is it that you want when you come to the hypnotherapist? And she doesn't get into anything much around hypnotherapy until quite late on, within the interview. And the first thing she does, and she doesn't frame it as hypnosis, it's more a sort of mind game. So I'd like to play the mind game with you. So I'm just going to take a sip of coffee. So the mind game is you put your hand, and if you could all play along with me, you put your hand on your chest like this, and what I want you to do, you don't have to tell me what you're going to imagine, but what I want you to do is imagine that there's something absolutely disgusting. You've got something absolutely disgusting in your hand. So now I want you to all close your eyes, and I want you to picture in your mind what that is. I want you to imagine what you've got in your hand. Is it hot or is it cold? David, don't wipe it over your face. Is it hot or is it cold? Is it wet or is it dry? Is it light or is it heavy? Perhaps it's not hot or cold, perhaps it's warm or chilly. Now what I want you to do is slowly bring your hands up to your face, imagining what it is in your hand, with your eyes closed. Bring it closer to your face, and I want you all to take a sniff. Now I want all... Right, okay, so that basically, you can all open your eyes and you can all look in your hand and you can see that there's nothing in your hand, but some of you were reacting quite violently to your imagination, that your imagination can paint an extraordinary picture of something that isn't really there, but has a reaction. And that's what Anthony has taught us, is its ideas provoking reactions. And I think that's a wonderful way of getting people into the whole idea of hypnotherapy and hypnosis and the power of imagination to change things, to change our reality. And I read a book recently which is written by Dave Elman, which it does the same sort of thing, but in a really interesting way. And again, it shows us something about the nature of hypnotherapy, and it also shows us the nature of the duality of what we're doing. And it's also a wonderful way of getting it into hypnosis and getting us into trance. But before I show you that, I'm going to talk a little bit about, and we've all done this, we've all talked about the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, and we're talking directly with the unconscious when we're doing our hypnotherapy. And Helen Wyer, who did the smelly thing, has got another lovely trick that she does, which goes down really well. You might have to ask your cat to disappear in a minute, Carol, but basically it is talking to your unconscious mind, and the fact that we've all driven home and we haven't really been paying attention to the driving, and our mind has been somewhere else entirely, that we have, our unconscious mind has been worrying about the brakes and the steering and changing gear, and we've been somewhere completely different. And this is something that Helen Wyer does to show to people, to talk about, to demonstrate again the unconscious mind and the conscious mind. So what I want everybody to do is everybody to stand up, and I want you to face, like me, in one direction. Cool. Make sure that there's nothing that you can trip over. And I'd like you to cross your hands over your body like this. If you can still see me, that's right. So make sure there's nothing you can fall and trip on. And what I want you to do is to close your eyes, and I want you to say your name, your Christian name, your first name, your birth name, over and over again in your head. And you'll find that at some point you might start leaning. Usually you lean forward. So if you say your name over and over again, you might actually feel, and I don't want you to fake this, I want you to feel it. So say your name over and over again in your head. Close your eyes. Say it over and over, and suddenly you might find yourself tipping forward. That's right, I can see QJ, it's worked on her. Mary a little bit. It's worked on Blaheen. So put your hand up if it's worked on you tipping forward. Okay, so now if we stand up again, and what I want you to do is put your hands in the same position, close your eyes, and I want you to say a name that isn't yours. It's nothing to do with you, not your middle name. David's is going to be called Mr. Yawn. And so any name that isn't yours, and as you repeat it over and over in your head, you'll notice that you tip the other way. You don't tip forward, you tip the other way. You tip backwards. So say that name. I can see QJ wobbling a little bit. So if it happens, sit down. So put your hands up if your body reacted. Brilliant, well done. So that's a really good way of demonstrating that your unconscious mind is so clever, it actually in fact knows your real name and a fake name. So you can go into parts work with something like that, just something that illustrates that very easy. And apparently, according to Helen Wyer, middle-aged people find that weird, but teenagers find it amazing and go, wow, that's so cool. So I know we very often deal with people of our own age, and some of them are more senior than others, like me, but we will apparently come across the rare, lesser spotted teenager at some stage. So as I was saying, I'm going to go back to Dave Elman. I'm going to have another sip because my mouth is getting dry. So Dave Elman is one of these sort of superstar hypnotists who taught hypnotists to doctors and dentists in the 1950s in America. And and this is during the time when anesthetics weren't particularly effective. So you go to the dentist and you could be having root canal and you could really feel it. So this is something that Blaheen might be of interest to her, since she's a hygienist. But basically, it was brought to his attention that a father was bringing a 4-year-old who claimed to be able to put herself in hypnosis. And he very often put people in, and at that time, people were spending 5 to 10 minutes inducing people and getting them into hypnosis. And basically, this little girl came in and she closed her eyes and she said, I'm going to pretend that I can't open them. And then her father would say, and now when you go and see the dentist, you're not going to be able to open your eyes, and you'll understand that something's happening in your mouth, but you won't feel a thing. And Dave Elman claimed that he could do exactly the same thing. He could close his eyes, tell himself that he could imagine that they wouldn't open, and then he would give himself a suggestion, and he wouldn't feel anything that was going on in his mouth. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to get the drill out, don't worry, but we're going to try it. So what I want you to do is to close your eyes, and I want you to pretend that your eyes are closed. I want you to pretend that there's nothing you can do to open them. So if you close your eyes and pretend that you can't open them, and at the same time try and open them, and you find yourself in a very peculiar state that your eyes are closed and you're battling with your imagination, that you're pretending that your eyes won't open, and you can't open them. So you're pretending that your eyes are closed and your eyes won't open. So I'd like to do that again. I'd like you to all open your eyes, and I'd like you to close your eyes, and I'd like you to imagine that they're sealed shut, that they're glued together, that they're stuck fast, and there's nothing you can do to open them. And you can go into trance very, very quickly, and you can go down, just as we always do, into that place where you feel most relaxed. And you can be in that state of focus, of concentration, of relaxation, very, very quickly. So this is what Dave Elman discovered. So you can put yourselves very quickly into that state by pretending that your eyes won't close and finding that your eyes cannot open. So just once more, I'd like you all to open your eyes, and I'd like to do a fun thing that I learned from Anthony, which is called the jumping pulse, which is a brilliant bit of fun. And I've got heart disease, and I go and see a cardiologist every other month, and very occasionally I see an old-fashioned nurse who has the watch on her chest, and she looks at the watch and she feels my pulse. So these days that's a rare occurrence because now they have all kinds of gizmos that take it for you. So what I'd like to do is ask for some volunteers to experience the jumping pulse. So put your hand up if you'd like to give it a go. David would, Blaheen would, and Mary would. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pin you, but I have no idea how this works. Oh, there's Mary. There's David. Oh, I'm actually getting the hang of this, kind of. And there's add pin, add pin, add pin.
It's not pinned for me.
Isn't
About
it?
anyone else?
Okay, well, I can see you very clearly. Mary can see. I can see you, Mary. I can't see. Where's Blaheen gone? And oh, add pin there. And then I'm going to ask you to all unmute. And what I'd like to be able to do is I'd like to see your hands, if that's possible. And if you can rest them on your chair, on the arms of your chair. If I can't see them, it's not the end of the world. If you've got a desk, David, that's fine. If not, just put them on your lap, David, that's fine. And Mary, you can put your hands down, that's fine. So what I want you to do is, I want you to close your eyes again. And I want you to remember that experience of trance that we've all experienced at JHA with the Jaquins, that we can feel completely relaxed, and however much we try, we're unable to open our eyes. And whatever noise is going on in the room, or noise that you can hear from me, you can just relax. And you can feel like you're going down into that wonderful state of relaxation, of calm. And you can hear everything that I say and experience everything. And what I want you to do is I want you to take your left hand and I want you to ball it into a fist, a tight fist. So take your left hand and just rest it on that cushion, on your lap, down. That's it. So keep it nice and tight. And as I talk, that hand gets tighter and squeezes. And with your right hand, I want you to ball it into a light fist. I don't want you to squeeze it. Just hold it in a fist. That's it. So, in a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers. And if you can hear me, I want you to nod as I snap my fingers. So in a moment, we're going to let go of both of our hands. We're going to release the pressure on our fist. So we're going to release the pressure on our left fist. That's it. Release the pressure. Not so tight. That's it. And in a moment, when I snap my fingers, you're going to feel your pulse in that hand, quite strongly, in your left hand. So nod your head when you can feel the pulse in your left hand. So what we're going to do now is we're going to imagine that our pulse is leaping from our left hand into our right hand. So again, when I snap my fingers, nod your head when you feel it arrive in your right hand. Okay, so now we're going to show just how powerful your unconscious mind is. What I'm going to ask your pulse to do is leap back to your left hand, but I want it to choose one of your fingers. I want it to choose either your thumb, your forefinger, your middle finger, your ring finger, or your pinky or little finger. And I want you, with your conscious mind, Mary, David, and Blaheen, I want you to pick the finger or the thumb where it's going to arrive. So I want you to pick now, and when I snap my fingers, your unconscious mind is going to send that pulse from your right hand to your left hand. So let me know when it's arrived. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, Mary, which finger on your left hand did you choose, your thumb? And where did the pulse arrive? In your thumb.
Mhm.
So you've got a brilliant control over your unconscious mind. Now Blaheen, and you can open your eyes, Mary. And Blaheen, which finger did you choose?
Tom.
Your thumb. And where did it arrive?
Tom.
In your thumb. And David, which finger or thumb did you choose?
I chose my little finger.
And where did it arrive?
In my little finger.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so what's fun? Thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. I shall unpin you. Oh, if I can do that. Unpin, remove pin. Thank you for that, Blaheen. Thank you.
That was amazing. Wow. I love it.
Right, so now I've got to unpin you. I've got. Oh, I need a technical advisor. Where's my techie when you need him?
From our angle, they're not pinned.
Oh, aren't I?
You're the one for me that's the main one up the top left, but everybody
Okay.
else isn't pinned.
I think
Okay.
you can in the top right
Yes,
corner
I'm
of
doing
each
that now.
person.
Remove pin. There you go. I've removed the pin, but you're still there. I think it's because you're talking. Anyway, so what the real fun can happen when you ask people to where the pulse has leapt to, and they say, it's arrived in my forefinger, and you say, well, what finger did you choose? And they say, well, I chose my little finger, or I chose my thumb. And that can be quite astounding, that you can have that sensation of your pulse leaping around, and that it arrives in a completely different spot that you expected. But also at the same time, it's also a great way of you saying, well, you've got wonderful control over your unconscious mind. And it's just it's a lovely sort of trick that, or tip, or whatever you want to call it. It was done by a magician, a stage hypnotist called Bill Cushman, and I saw Anthony do it about 10 years ago, and I will, if anybody wants to see it, there's a wonderful video on YouTube. So that's that, the jumping pulse. And now I'm going on to something else now, and I want to talk about ideomotor induction and how much fun it can be. So again, I would like some volunteers, but I'd also wouldn't mind picking my volunteers as well. So it's like the army. Can I have you, you, and you? So again, could I have you, Blaheen? Could I have you, Mary? And who, put your hand up if you'd like to do it as well. Who feels like they go under quite easily? Would you like to do it, QJ? Okay. Right, so I'm going to see if I can add pins. Does this work? Is anybody actually, when I add a pin, no?
No, we are not pinned.
Oh, okay. I have no idea how this works. It's just me and everybody else is tiny. Well, that's the way I like it, you see. I like to be the most important. Anyway, so I'm going to unmute you if that's possible, or could you unmute yourselves? Okay.
Yes.
So what I want to do, I thought Blaheen was going to be in here too, but that's fine. What I want you to do is we're going to go back down and we're going to show you the power of your unconscious mind. And so I want you to, again, for the third time this evening, or the fourth time, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you can't open them. So Vonda, if you close your eyes. Yes, you. Who, me? So if you close your eyes and imagine you can't open them. And I want you to relax. And as you relax, I want you to believe that your eyes can't open, that they're stuck together, that however much you try and open them, they won't. And I want to talk to the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, and I don't want a signal that's faked or pretend. I want an honest signal from you. And because I can't see your hands, I want your head or your eyes or your nose or your mouth to answer when it's ready. So I want the conscious mind to tell the unconscious mind that message. I want the unconscious to answer us when it's ready. I want it to give us a signal when it's ready to have a laugh, when it's ready to be happy, when it's ready to feel more relaxed in what people think are difficult times, when the left and right of politics have been amplified for social media clicks, to the extent that it looks like we're at war with each other. I want the part that makes you feel happy to give a signal when it's ready. It might be your head nodding, It might be your nose twitching. It might be your eyelids fluttering. It might be you rocking around. It might even be one of your hands lifting up. And I want the unconscious mind to show us that you'd like some happy medicine. I'd like you to find it amusing. I'd like you to feel more and more relaxed. And as you sit there relaxed, I want those signals to occur. Hand getting lighter, head nodding, eyes nodding, if that's even possible. If it was, it might even make you laugh. It may make you laugh so much that you can't stop. And as you sit there, feeling what you're feeling, hearing what you're hearing, you can become more and more blissed out, feeling more and more funny, perhaps even feeling a bit silly, feeling wonderful, laughing as one of our hands starts rising, as if there's a balloon attached to it, as if there is a string pulling that hand up. And as it pulls up, you can find it more and more amusing. You can't even control the laughter coming out, Mary. That's it, Vonda. As your hand goes up, you find it so funny that you start to titter. You start to titter like the Queen. Mary, you start laughing, slightly uncontrollably. Perhaps like a mad woman, perhaps like a witch. As you sit there laughing, as Vonda titters like the Queen Mother, with her hands expecting everybody to bow to her, as our hands are raising. QJ like the Empress she knows she is, with her hand raising slowly, finding it more and more amusing. That's it. With her hand being pulled up, and even Blaheen finding it more and more amusing and laughing. That's right. Feeling absolutely wonderful. And if only we could, the technician would turn the fucking sound on, we might even hear it too. Mary is absolutely losing the plot. It's becoming more and more funny. QJ thinks she's the Empress of China, laughing so much at those pathetic subjects. You horrible little shits. Vonda has turned into the Queen. Yes, I'm about to give an address to Parliament, and I'm terribly important. And the more my hands get stuck to my shoulders, I find it more amusing. And QJ can't prevent herself from laughing as she gets more and more in trance. Yes, hand raising, Vonda looking more and more majestic, Mary looking wonderful with her hand raised up, laughing like a witch, cackling away. So now I'd like you to put your hands down slowly. Let your hands return into your lap. That's it. And I want you to understand that you're going to have a wonderful day later on today, later on this evening and tomorrow. And I want everybody now to close your eyes. I'm not going to make anybody laugh, but I just want to talk to everybody about feeling the joy in the day. So as you close your eyes and you feel more relaxed, and you realize that your eyes can't open, however much you want to try and open them, they're stuck fast. That's it. And whatever you do, you can feel wonderful and relaxed. sitting there with nothing to do, understanding that you can be a wonderful hypnotist, and you're not going to let the woes of the world disturb you. And now, as we begin to bring our time together to a close, gently, you might notice that something subtle has shifted. Perhaps a little more stillness in your chest, a little more space between your thoughts. Even if it's small, just a breath of relief. That's more than enough. You see, humans are strange and wonderful species. We cry at films that we've seen 10 times already. We lose our keys whilst we're holding them. We make plans and then laugh when the universe has other ideas. And somehow, despite the chaos, the mess, the unanswered emails, we carry on. So right in this moment, you don't need to fix anything. You don't need to figure anything out. You're allowed to just be whole exactly as you are. Slightly ridiculous, utterly human, and perfect enough. And maybe, just maybe, you can smile at the glorious absurdity of it all. Because sometimes the wisest response to life is a chuckle, or a full belly laugh, or at least a deep sigh and an eyebrow raise. So take this feeling with you of calm curiosity, of kindness towards yourself, and of humour as a gentle rebellion against the heaviness of the world. After all, if we're all just walking stories trying to make sense of a spinning rock hurtling through space, we might as well find a punchline that we like. So when I count you up, I want you to take that lightness with you. So 5, breath like a mountain breeze, clearing your head. 4, heart full of fun. 3, refreshed and confident, ready to be the successful hypnotist you already know you can be. 2, ready to sit on the whoopee cushion of life. 1, wide awake. So that's the end of my session. Ta-da! I've done it.
Excellent.
Fabulous, David. Well done. That was thoroughly
Excellent.
enjoyable.
Yes, and I shall
Fabulous.
take a bow to my subjects. Yeah, the four,
that was
the
brilliant.
3 queens of hypnosis, all laughing. So I don't know what. I'll just tell you the bits that I did and where I got them from, if you're interested.
Yeah.
And if I will post up on Facebook. So the cherry pips is Morecambe and Wise, and Freddie uses it. He uses it when people say they want to give him something, like they've got a burden, and they throw something out of the screen, and all I'm doing is, if you can see, is you can snap your finger. Oh, there we are. I can't work backwards. I just flip the bag like that as something lands in it, and when you're finished, you can scrunch it up and throw it away. So you can do burdens with people. They feel heavy about something, so it's obviously quite a nice symbolic thing. As I said before, the jumping pulse, I think, is just amazing. When you feel it, it's so much fun, especially when it goes into other fingers. And Anthony does it going up and down, and then he goes straight into the tittering, the laughing, when I've seen him do it. And he talks about random acts of kindness that you, at the end of a session, that you give something that somebody can take away with them, that can make them feel lighter, that can make them feel some joy. So I wrote that one and it was something that Nina had said that she finds sometimes, and I think we all find at the moment, the news a little bit. Sometimes we can find it distressing and we can feel powerless. And so that's why I wrote that. So it's sort of, as I said, this sort of random act of kindness. I thought that I just used it as an excuse to tell a joke about poo as well. See Clement Freud for more. And the revolting thing, I think, is a great imagination starter. There's another one that I've done with Melanie, which is you ask somebody in their mind to cut a lemon in half, cut a slice of lemon, put the lemon in your mouth and imagine that bitterness, that taste, and you get people salivating and doing all this kind of thing. But I thought after I've done a joke about poo, your mind might anyway. And then the lean was from Blaheen, and also Helen Wyer as well. It's also a great demonstration of the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, and the eye induction. I'm doing this because we've all been in hypnosis before and we can all remember it, which is, your eyes are closed, and obviously I'm pacing and leading. Actually your eyes are glued together, you can't open them. The more you open them and the more you feel relaxed. And I think that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Yes. Which Dave Elman book was it?
It's Hypnotherapy. It's the green book.
All right.
And it's so revelatory because it's written in a time when hypnosis, I don't know about you, but I still get when people say, and when I say, oh, I'm doing hypnotherapy, they sort of back off. I can't imagine what it would have been like in the 1950s, but anyway.
I always do this. When they ask me, I say, oh, I'm studying hypnotherapy. And they go like that to their face. And they all go, just in case I'm getting...
They often think you're hypnotizing them straight away. Like
Yeah.
once you tell them they're doing it, they're going, you're hypnotizing me now, aren't you? Crazy.
Well, thank you all for attending and giving me the time, and I hope it wasn't too painful. My appalling technical skills were, but believe you me, when you get to do it, fucking hell.
That was great. David, are you doing this as part of your JHA going through? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, I am.
Oh, that's amazing. You were really brave to put it on the Facebook page then. I did mine to my cohort.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, Freddie said, oh, well, would you like to do it for, anybody who's feeling really brave, put it on his page. And I thought, after yesterday, I'm so pleased because I couldn't figure out how the F to work this thing. It's not as, I'm sure Anthony's had many goes at it, but it's not as easy as it looks. But anyway, thank you so much for turning up.
Brilliant, David. Thank you.
I just want to say, I really loved the drunk man joke. The way that you acted and spoke the voice of the drunk man. It was brilliant, as if you are him.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to do it because I thought it was a bit rude, but Blaheen and Mary insisted, and I was going to say he pooped his pants, but they said no, you must really load it and say he shit his pants. So I came to a happy medium and said he shat his pants.
David, have you taken a screenshot of it?
Oh, shall I do that?
Yeah, and if you get the chat in the side, you've got all loads of thank yous, fabulouses.
Oh, I haven't taken the chat. Oh, I haven't even read that. I've just been so busy with actually doing it. And thank you, Dave. I think you're the only, or David, sorry, I'm not a Dave. I prefer David, you see. And ooh, I'm going to do the chat. There we are. Thank you for coming, David, being the one chap I could rely on to.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And
right.
you might have seen my comment about Jenny Camel Humper III.
Oh, so you know. Yeah. That was
well familiar with it too.
Oh, did you have the Manchurian approach as well?
That's yeah, I got that when I was first starting out in magic, and it was like, whoa, you can make people do this stuff.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, on this. Just before I go, if you can find it, it's still out there. And actually, Anthony was quite wicked, wasn't he? I mean, he was sort of pushing people, and he would make them forget their own names, and people come back and he would suggest to them that their name was it Jenny Camel Hump III?
That's right.
and you'd say, hello, Vonda, how are you? And she'd say, I'm not Vonda, I'm Jenny Camel Humper III.
He's like, oh, you come from a long line of camel humpers, do you? Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody, for indulging me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very
Thank
good.
you, David. Very well done.
Thank
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you. It was excellent.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.